ready to achieve something big, but feel the weight of uncertainty holding you back. The closer you get to success, the more the pressure builds, and it's easy to start second-guessing yourself. What if the real key to unlocking your potential isn't waiting for the perfect moment, but embracing the challenges that come with the final stretch? In this video, you'll learn how to harness the pressure, face your fears head-on, and push through those last hurdles with unshakable confidence. It's not about having everything figured out, it's about taking bold action when it matters most. Let's dive in and discover how to turn your final stretch into a powerful leap toward achieving everything you've worked for. 1. The final stretch. When you've been working toward a goal for an extended period, the last stretch can often feel the most challenging. You've already put in the time, effort, and dedication, and everything you've done so far seems to have brought you to this pivotal moment. But as the finish line approaches, a strange and often unsettling feeling can arise. It's a mix of doubt, fear, and anxiety. The closer you get to success, the more you may start to question yourself. Is this the right path? Will you truly succeed? What if something goes wrong at the last moment? These feelings are common, and they're often a sign that you're on the verge of achieving something monumental. This moment just before the breakthrough is critical. It is when your mental resilience will be tested the most. It is easy to feel overwhelmed and consider giving up, but it is precisely at this point that your mindset and preparation matter most. These final stages separate those who succeed from those who falter. In times like these, success is not about raw effort alone, it is about mental toughness, preparation, and the ability to stay calm under pressure. The sense of pressure that builds as you near your goal is not something to avoid or fear. It's a natural response, and it's actually an indication that you're on the right track. When you feel the weight of what's at stake, it's a reminder that the work you've done up until now is about to come to fruition. The effort you've invested is beginning to pay off. Pressure often gets a bad reputation, but in reality it can be the force that propels you forward. It serves as a catalyst, challenging you to dig deeper and push harder. This is not a sign of impending failure, but of transformation and accomplishment. At this stage, many people fall victim to self-doubt. They question whether they are truly capable of achieving their goal or whether they've made enough progress. This is where the most successful individuals distinguish themselves. They don't shy away from these emotions. Instead, they recognize them as part of the process. They understand that this pressure, this fear, is a necessary component of growth. It is what makes the achievement meaningful. This is the moment when every ounce of preparation, every lesson learned along the way comes into play. The successful don't let fear make the decision for them. Instead, they let the work they've put in and the strength they've built lead them through the final stretch. Preparation is not just about the technical aspects of what you've been working on. It's about the mental conditioning that has gotten you here. Each challenge you've faced, each hurdle you've overcome has been a step toward building the resilience needed for this final push. It's easy to underestimate how much inner strength is developed during periods of struggle. Doubt and fear are part of the process, but they don't define it. They only mark the threshold between where you've been and where you're going. They serve as reminders that what lies ahead is significant, and the stakes are high because the rewards are just as profound. As the pressure intensifies, the instinct to retreat may seem like the easier option. This is when it's essential to remember that the hardest part often comes just before the breakthrough. It's the final test of your dedication. It's not the moment to pull back or retreat into comfort. It's the moment to lean into the discomfort and push forward. Every step forward, no matter how small, brings you closer to the result you've been striving for. The work you've done in silence, the effort no one saw, has prepared you for this moment. In these final stages, the most successful people stay focused on the goal. They stay anchored to their purpose. They are able to withstand the pressure and let it fuel their determination instead of letting it paralyze them. They recognize that achieving something big isn't about avoiding challenges or discomfort, but about facing them head-on with confidence and clarity. They know that success is not about having a perfect journey. It's about staying true to the path, no matter how difficult it may seem at times. The mental and emotional fortitude you have developed up until this point is what will carry you through the last few hurdles. You may have moments of doubt and you may question whether you have what it takes, but those doubts are not signs of failure. They are simply the last hurdles before you break through to success. In those moments, remind yourself of how far you've come. All the setbacks, all the obstacles, and all the work have brought you here. Every experience, every lesson learned has equipped you for this final stretch. You've trained for this, you've built your resilience, you've put in the time. Now it's time to stay steady, to trust in your ability, and to keep moving forward. It's in these final moments, when everything seems to hang in the balance, that your ability to stay calm, focused, and determined will ultimately determine the outcome. The fear and pressure you feel are just the final tests before success. Stay committed to the process. Trust your preparation and embrace the discomfort. You are almost there, and everything you've been working toward is about to fall into place. As you approach the final stretch, remember that the most important part of the journey is not the destination, it's the resilience, determination, and clarity that you develop along the way. The success you've been working toward is not just about achieving a goal, it's about the person you become in the process. And when you reach that finish line, you'll realize that everything you've gone through, every challenge faced, and every ounce of effort put forth was not just about reaching the goal, it was about becoming the person capable of achieving it. When you're about to achieve something big, it's not just the goal that matters, it's how you handle the final stretch. And that's when the real growth happens. 2. Embrace the fear. Fear is an inevitable part of the journey towards success. It's often viewed as an obstacle, something that holds us back and limits our potential. However, the reality is much different. Fear in its various forms, whether it's fear of failure, fear of success, or fear of change, serves a fundamental purpose in personal growth. The key to unlocking the power of fear is not to try to eliminate it or ignore it, but to embrace it. Fear can be the signal that you are stepping into a new phase, a phase of growth and transformation. This is the moment when you're moving beyond your comfort zone and into the unknown, where true development occurs. When you feel fear begin to rise within you, it's a clear indication that you are on the verge of something significant. The discomfort that fear brings is not a sign that you are unprepared, but rather that you are on the right path. It's easy to think that fear means you aren't ready for the challenge, but in reality, it often means the opposite. Fear is a natural response to stepping into uncharted territory, and stepping into uncharted territory is exactly where progress happens. Without fear, there is no challenge. Without challenge, there is no growth. Fear is a natural physiological response that has been hardwired into us for survival. Our brains are designed to protect us from danger, and this protective instinct triggers fear when we face something unfamiliar or uncertain. But in the context of personal and professional growth, fear doesn't signal danger, it signals potential. It's a sign that you are about to push the boundaries of what you thought was possible for yourself. When you fear something, it usually means you're about to do something important, something that could lead to meaningful change in your life. Think of all the great achievements in history, from the invention of the light bulb to groundbreaking scientific discoveries. These achievements were born from individuals who faced immense fear, uncertainty, and doubt, yet they chose to move forward despite these feelings. Fear didn't hold them back, it propelled them forward. It drove them to find new solutions, to think differently, and to keep moving when everything seemed uncertain. The fear they felt didn't deter them, it pushed them to be better, to be braver, and to keep pushing toward their goals. The fear of failure is one of the most powerful types of fear, and it can be crippling if not understood. It often leads to procrastination, self-doubt, and the temptation to give up before even trying. However, fear of failure doesn't mean failure is imminent. In fact, it often means you're on the verge of success. It's the discomfort of the unknown that triggers this fear. The key to overcoming this fear is to reframe it. Rather than viewing failure as something to avoid at all costs, start seeing it as a necessary part of the learning process. Every successful person has failed, often repeatedly, but they didn't let it define them. They used their failures as lessons, as stepping stones toward their ultimate success. The fear of success can be just as paralyzing. It might seem counterintuitive, but many people fear the very success they're working toward. Success can bring about a range of changes, higher expectations, more responsibility, a change in lifestyle, and the fear of those changes can stop people from reaching their potential. But this fear, like the fear of failure, isn't something to run from. It's a signal that you are on the edge of a breakthrough, that you are about to step into a new version of yourself, one that is more capable, more influential, and more aligned with your true potential. Fear of change is another form of resistance that can hold you back. Change is inevitable, and it's a part of every journey towards success. Yet many people resist change because it forces them to step into the unknown. We all have our comfort zones, and change can make us feel vulnerable, but vulnerability is where real growth happens. It's where innovation, transformation, and creativity are born. Embracing the fear of change is essential to moving forward. If you constantly avoid change, you're also avoiding growth. Change is not something to be feared, it's something to embrace. It's a sign that you're evolving, and that's a good thing. Rather than letting fear control you, you can choose to use it as fuel. Fear is energy, it's your body and mind preparing you for something significant. Instead of running from it or letting it paralyze you, use it to propel yourself forward. The fear you feel is not there to stop you, it's there to push you, to make you stronger, and to help you break through the barriers you've set for yourself. It's a reminder that you're on the verge of something big. Instead of resisting fear, recognize it as a natural part of the process. Sit with it, accept it, and then use it as motivation to move forward. You are on the verge of breaking through, and fear is the catalyst that will get you there. The fear you feel when approaching something big can be transformed into determination. It becomes the energy you need to take the next step, to do what needs to be done, and to keep going even when things feel uncertain. Fear is a natural part of pushing your limits, and the greatest achievers in history didn't shy away from fear, they embraced it. They understood that without fear, there would be no challenge, and without challenge, there would be no real growth. Fear is not something to fear, it's a signal that you're about to do something extraordinary. As you move closer to achieving something big, the fear you experience is a sign that you're pushing beyond your limits, breaking out of your comfort zone, and getting closer to your true potential. Embrace the fear, don't let it stop you, let it fuel your determination, and use it as the energy you need to keep moving forward. Fear is not a roadblock, it's a signpost that you're on the right path. Keep moving through it, and let it guide you to success. 3. The danger of complacency. When you're nearing the completion of a major goal, there's a subtle but dangerous risk that comes with being so close to success. Complacency. The feeling that you've already put in the work, that the outcome is in sight, and that it's time to ease up. It's a natural human response, but it's also one that can undermine all of the progress you've made up until this point. When success feels imminent, it's easy to relax, to coast, or to celebrate prematurely, but this is when you need to dig the deepest. The final stretch, when the finish line is within reach, is often the hardest part of the journey. One of the most insidious aspects of complacency is the illusion it creates. As you get closer to your goal, you may feel like the hard work is done, and that the outcome is already determined. This mindset makes sense on the surface. After all, you've been working tirelessly, overcoming obstacles, and pushing yourself to get to this point. It seems reasonable to think that everything should fall into place now, but this illusion of certainty can be dangerous. Complacency thrives in the belief that success is guaranteed, but this is where things can go wrong. Success is never guaranteed, and the moment you stop giving your best is the moment you risk losing everything you've worked for. Complacency often creeps in because of the human tendency to assume that things will work out because they've worked so far. But the truth is, most people fail, not because they don't have the capability to succeed, but because they ease up just when they're so close to the finish line. This phenomenon isn't limited to personal achievement, it's seen in every field, from business to sports to creative endeavors. In fact, research has shown that people are often more likely to experience a drop in performance just as they near a goal. A 2016 study published in Psychological Science demonstrated that people's motivation often decreases as they approach a goal, a phenomenon called the goal gradient effect. When nearing the finish line, people sometimes feel that they've done enough, that the outcome is close enough to be inevitable, which can lead to the decline in effort that causes them to stumble at the final hurdle. It's important to recognize that complacency isn't always about laziness or being overly confident. Often it comes from exhaustion, burnout, or the desire to enjoy a brief sense of accomplishment. You've been working hard for so long, and as the end approaches, it can feel like you deserve a break. While it's important to take care of your well-being and rest when necessary, taking a break too early, before you've reached your goal, can be just as harmful as not resting at all. It's like running a marathon and stopping just before the finish line because you believe the race is already won. You've done most of the work, but you're still a step away from crossing the line. The last part of the race is just as important as the first, if not more so. It's also crucial to understand that complacency comes from a mindset of certainty. When you believe that success is inevitable, you start to think that the finish line is within arm's reach, and it no longer feels like a challenge. This perception is dangerous because the moment you stop giving 100% effort is the moment your progress begins to stall. Success isn't a result of how hard you worked up until a certain point, it's a culmination of continuous, focused effort until the very end. This is why the final stretch requires more focus and dedication than any other part of the journey. Every athlete knows that the hardest part of a race is often the last lap. The fatigue sets in, the body aches, and the desire to slow down grows stronger, but it's in that moment when you're tired and when the finish line is almost in sight that your true strength is tested. It's the same in business, in creative work, in personal development. You may have put in months or years of effort, but it's in these final moments where your perseverance and mindset will determine whether you succeed or not. The most successful people in history aren't the ones who coasted when they got close to their goals, they're the ones who doubled down on their efforts when the finish line was in sight. They knew that the end wasn't the time to rest, it was the time to push harder, stay focused, and give their all until the very last moment. They understood that complacency is not just a risk, it's the most dangerous risk of all, because it leads to the collapse of everything you've worked for. Complacency means stopping before you've truly reached your goal. In professional sports, this concept is taught at every level. Successful athletes don't ease up when they can see the finish line, they give their maximum effort until the final whistle blows. They know that even the slightest drop in intensity can lead to failure. Business leaders and entrepreneurs face the same pressure when they near a goal. They know that complacency, even for a moment, can cause a competitor to overtake them. The fight isn't over until the goal is achieved, and it's only by maintaining focus and determination through every step that success is truly attained. The same is true for personal growth and development. As you approach the culmination of a long journey, whether it's finishing a degree, achieving a personal milestone, or completing a project, it's tempting to think that the hard work is over.
but that's when you need to push the hardest. The most important thing you can do as you near the finish line is to keep your eyes on the prize, stay focused, and refuse to slow down. Complacency is the enemy of success, and it's only by continuing with the same intensity, the same focus, and the same dedication that you'll make it to the end. The reality is that success requires persistence, and that persistence is tested the most in the final stages. This is when distractions, temptations, and fatigue are at their highest, and the pressure to ease up is most intense. But this is also when your true commitment to your goal is tested. It's the final push that determines whether you succeed or not. The risk of complacency is high, but by staying focused, staying committed, and avoiding the urge to coast, you can ensure that the finish line is where you end, not where you stumble. 4. Doubt is your enemy. Doubt is a powerful force, especially when you're on the cusp of achieving something monumental. As you get closer to reaching your goal, it's common to feel the weight of uncertainty. This feeling of doubt can take many forms: questioning whether you're truly capable of succeeding, wondering if you're prepared enough, or fearing that something might go wrong despite all the effort you've invested. These thoughts can be overwhelming and make you question the very foundation of your ambition. But the truth is, this doubt is not a signal of your inadequacy. It's a natural part of the process. It's a reminder that you're on the verge of something important. It is a reaction to the fact that you're stretching beyond your current comfort zone, and it's a challenge to your growth. Doubt is an enemy because it undermines the confidence you've built, clouding your judgment and slowing your momentum. It acts like a weight, anchoring you in uncertainty and making it difficult to move forward. It tricks you into thinking you're not ready when, in fact, the preparation and work you've done have been precisely what has gotten you this far. Doubt doesn't come from a place of logic or reason. It's an emotional reaction to the unknown. It thrives when we don't trust in the process we've been following. And this is the danger. The closer you get to success, the stronger this feeling can become. It's a tactic that the mind uses to try and protect you from risk and failure, but it often has the opposite effect. It keeps you stuck, unsure, and hesitating when action is most needed. When doubt creeps in, it doesn't just affect how you think, it affects how you act. The moment you begin to doubt yourself is the moment you become more vulnerable to procrastination, hesitation, and indecision. It clouds your ability to see how far you've come and tricks you into thinking you're not enough. It may cause you to second-guess decisions you've already made, question the steps you've taken, or become fixated on potential setbacks instead of celebrating your progress. This is where doubt is dangerous. It disrupts your ability to see things clearly. Instead of maintaining momentum, you may find yourself caught in a loop of worry and fear, all because of the lingering thought that you might not succeed. But here's the thing, doubt doesn't define your potential, it's a part of the journey. The most successful people in the world have faced doubt at some point. Whether it's business moguls, athletes, or creatives, everyone experiences moments when they feel uncertain or question their abilities. The difference between those who succeed and those who give up is how they deal with this doubt. The key is not to ignore it, but to push through it. When you're close to achieving something big, doubt is simply a sign that you're on the edge of a breakthrough. The closer you are to success, the more doubt tries to creep in because it knows you are pushing the boundaries of your comfort zone. But you've already come so far, your journey has equipped you with the tools you need to keep going. And now in this final stretch is the time to trust that the process has prepared you for this moment. The antidote to doubt is trust. Trust in the process you've been following. Trust in your preparation. Trust that the work you've done, no matter how difficult, is enough. Trust that every setback, every failure, and every obstacle has been a lesson that has taught you something valuable. It's easy to forget how much you've learned and grown along the way, especially when doubt clouds your perception. But when you take a step back and reflect on the obstacles you've already overcome, you begin to realize how capable you really are. Think back to all the times you've been uncertain, all the times you've been tested, and all the times you pushed through those moments. You made it through because you had the resilience, the determination, and the ability to keep moving forward. That same strength is still within you. The doubt you're feeling now is just the last hurdle before your success. Instead of letting it stop you, use it as fuel to propel you forward. Each time you feel the pull of doubt, remind yourself that this is the final test before your breakthrough. The closer you get to your goal, the more doubt will attempt to derail you. But this is when you need to push through with everything you've got. The fear and uncertainty are simply signs that you're close to achieving what you set out to do. Every great success story includes moments of doubt, moments when the person wasn't sure if they could make it. But what separates those who achieve their dreams from those who don't is the ability to keep moving forward despite those doubts. One of the most effective ways to combat doubt is to remind yourself of all the times you've faced obstacles and conquered them. Whether big or small, you've overcome challenges before, and you have the strength to do it again. Each victory, each step forward has been a building block that has prepared you for this moment. The doubt you feel now is just a temporary barrier. It won't last, but your ability to push through it will. You've already come this far, and now is not the time to give in to uncertainty. Now is the time to trust in your abilities, to trust in the work you've done, and to trust in the fact that you are ready. It's also essential to remember that doubt is not a reflection of your worth or your capabilities. It's simply a byproduct of the unknown, of stepping into territory that feels unfamiliar. Doubt exists because you're on the edge of something bigger than you've ever experienced. It's a signal that you're reaching new heights, that you're about to break through to the next level. Don't see it as a weakness, see it as confirmation that you are close. You're not doubting because you're not good enough. You're doubting because you're about to step into a new phase of your journey, one that will require even more courage and resilience than before. So when doubt starts to creep in, don't let it stop you. Don't let it convince you that you're not capable. Instead, recognize it, sit with it, and use it as energy to push through to the next phase. You've done the work, and you are more than prepared for what lies ahead. This is the moment you've been waiting for, the moment when everything you've worked for aligns with the effort you put in. Push through the doubt, trust in yourself, and keep moving toward your goal. You're closer than you think.
5. Keep your focus. Distractions are inevitable. They are a part of every journey, and as you get closer to achieving something big, they only increase. Whether it's the opinions of others, unexpected challenges, or the noise of everyday life, distractions will come. They'll try to pull you in different directions and divert your attention from what truly matters. However, at this critical stage in your journey, maintaining focus is not just important, it is essential. Success is not defined by how many things you can juggle or how many opportunities you entertain. Success comes from the ability to focus on what's in front of you and block out anything that doesn't align with your ultimate goal. The reality is, the closer you get to your goal, the more distractions will appear. It's as if the world becomes louder and more forces try to pull you off track. There will always be people, situations, or opportunities that try to grab your attention. Sometimes these distractions may even seem important, but they're designed to take you away from your core mission. Whether it's the well-meaning advice of others, unsolicited opinions, or simply the everyday demands that come from life, distractions can often look like opportunities, making it harder to stay aligned with your purpose. When you're about to achieve something big, staying focused becomes your most valuable asset. Focus, however, is not about becoming single-minded to the point where you shut out everything else. It's about knowing where to channel your energy. It's about being clear on your priorities and aligning every action with those priorities. It's the ability to stay grounded, no matter how many competing forces come your way. Successful individuals understand that focus isn't about doing everything, it's about doing what matters. In this critical phase, every decision you make needs to be aligned with your vision. Every ounce of energy must go toward moving you closer to your goal, and distractions, no matter how appealing, need to be filtered out. This is where most people falter. They begin to pay attention to things that are irrelevant to their ultimate goal. They start chasing every new idea, opportunity, or distraction that comes their way, thinking they are being productive when in fact they're losing momentum. This is where focus becomes the distinguishing factor between those who succeed and those who struggle to reach their potential. It's not enough to simply be busy. Being busy doesn't equal being productive, and it certainly doesn't lead to success. Success requires a disciplined effort to stay focused on the task at hand. It means resisting the temptation to get pulled into things that will not help you reach your ultimate goal. Whether it's a new project, a new relationship, or a new interest, if it doesn't align with what you're working toward, it is a distraction. It may seem harmless, but it is enough to derail your focus and in turn your progress. People who are highly successful know how to set boundaries and keep distractions at bay. They stay grounded in their purpose and remain committed to their vision, even when everything around them is calling for their attention. They don't let the noise of the world drown out the clarity of their goals. This ability to stay grounded and focused is what gives them an edge. It's not about being rigid or inflexible, but about understanding that there are times when you need to block out the noise in order to make the most progress. In the final stretch of your journey towards success, this focus is even more important. You've put in the work, and now is not the time to waver. The closer you get to achieving something big, the more tempting distractions will become. The urge to celebrate too early, to slack off, or to get sidetracked by things that seem important but aren't, can become overwhelming. But you must resist that temptation. The last phase of any achievement requires more energy, more concentration, and more discipline than any other part of the process. This is when focus is your most powerful tool. It's not the time to let up or let distractions creep in. It's the time to double down. Focus is the laser-like attention on your goal that helps you power through the toughest moments. It's what keeps you going when your energy starts to dip, when doubt starts to creep in, or when the world around you seems to be moving in every direction but forward. Focus enables you to ignore the distractions and keep your attention on what you've set out to accomplish. It's the ability to block out the noise, the distractions, and the things that are pulling you away from your vision. The reason many people fall short of their potential is not because they lack the ability to achieve greatness, but because they get distracted by things that ultimately don't matter in the grand scheme of their goals. They lose sight of what's important, chasing every fleeting opportunity that comes their way, thinking that every new distraction is a step toward their success. But the truth is, every time you divert your energy and attention away from what matters most, you delay your success and risk losing sight of your purpose. To be successful, you must develop the discipline to stay focused, no matter how many distractions appear. You need to learn how to prioritize your time, your energy, and your resources. This doesn't mean completely ignoring the world around you, but it means knowing when to engage and when to block out the noise. It means making sure that the things you focus on directly contribute to your long-term vision. Whether it's sticking to your work schedule, ignoring unsolicited advice, or saying no to distractions that don't align with your mission, staying focused requires both clarity and discipline. Success is not an accident, it's the result of continuous focused effort toward a specific goal. The people who achieve greatness don't just show up, they stay focused on their objective, no matter how much noise is happening around them. They filter out the irrelevant and give their attention to the things that truly matter. In those final moments when everything is on the line, focus becomes even more important. The difference between those who cross the finish line and those who fall short is not always talent or resources, it's focus. Focus is what enables you to push through the hardest parts of your journey. It's what keeps you grounded, even when everything around you seems to be pulling you away from your goal. And it's what ensures that you cross the finish line, not as someone who was distracted by everything, but as someone who stayed true to their purpose. 6. Trust the process. The journey toward achieving something significant is never a straight line. No matter how clear your vision is or how well you plan, the path to success will inevitably involve unexpected obstacles, setbacks, and periods of uncertainty. It's not a smooth, predictable ride. The outcome may not always look the way you expected it to. In fact, it's often quite different from the picture you initially had in your mind. But this is where the real challenge and the real growth happens. It's not the bumps along the way that define your success, it's how you respond to them. And the key to overcoming the ups and downs of the journey lies in trusting the process. Success isn't reserved for those who have the clearest path or the most straightforward goals. It's for those who, despite the twists and turns, keep moving forward. Trusting the process is what sets achievers apart from dreamers. Dreamers may have big ideas, but they often lack the resilience to stay on course when things get tough. Achievers, on the other hand, understand that the road to success is filled with unexpected challenges. They know that things may not always go as planned, and they accept that as part of the journey. What they do differently is continue pushing forward. They trust that every step, no matter how difficult or uncertain, is part of the bigger picture. When you trust the process, it doesn't mean that you'll be passive. Trusting doesn't equal inaction, it's the opposite. It means believing in your ability to handle whatever comes your way. The challenges, the changes in direction, the failures, all of it is part of what prepares you for the final goal. Trusting the process means having the confidence to keep going even when things don't seem to be working in your favor. It's about understanding that setbacks are not signs of defeat, but rather an inevitable part of the journey. When things don't go according to plan, it's not the end, it's just a signal to adjust your course, to adapt and to continue. This is where many people falter. They hit an obstacle, experience a delay, or face an unexpected challenge, and they immediately question the entire process. The moment they encounter a setback, they doubt their ability to succeed, and that doubt often leads to quitting or changing direction. But achieving anything meaningful requires resilience. It requires a mindset that views obstacles not as roadblocks but as opportunities to learn and grow. It's not the ones who never face challenges who succeed. It's the ones who trust that they can navigate through the challenges, adapt and keep moving forward. When you trust the process, you are committing to the understanding that progress is rarely immediate. Success takes time, and while it may not look like much is happening at times, the work you're doing in the background is building the foundation for what is to come. It's easy to look at someone else's success and assume that they've had an easy ride, that they've found the shortcut. But what's often unseen is the quiet, consistent work that happens behind the scenes. It's the long hours, the days filled with self-doubt, the setbacks, the lessons learned, and the moments when things weren't going according to plan, but they kept moving forward anyway. Trusting the process means having faith that the efforts you're making now, even when they don't seem to be paying off immediately, are leading you to where you need to be. This isn't about blind faith though. It's not about sticking with something that isn't working. It's about confidence in your ability to adjust, to course correct, and to adapt your strategy when necessary. Trusting the process means being proactive, not reactive. It means paying attention to the signals and learning from every experience. It's about believing in your ability to rise to the occasion when you encounter obstacles, rather than being defeated by them. The process isn't linear, and the path to success is often far from clear.
But the most successful individuals don't wait for the perfect path to unfold. They take action based on what they know, and they adjust as they go. Trusting the process also means staying grounded in your vision and staying focused on the long-term goal, not getting distracted by short-term results or setbacks. In the age of instant gratification, it's easy to want quick results, but true success doesn't come overnight. It's built over time, with consistent effort and unwavering commitment. And sometimes, you'll face moments where the end goal feels far out of reach. It's in these moments that trusting the process becomes even more important. It's in these moments that your belief in the journey, the faith that you are doing the right thing, and that the process is unfolding as it should, is what will keep you going. Trusting the process is also about being patient. Patience is often overlooked in the pursuit of success, but it's one of the most essential ingredients. The world of hustle culture often promotes the idea that if you're not seeing fast results, you're failing. This can lead to frustration and impatience. But real growth takes time, it takes persistence, it takes trial and error, and it's through these trials, through the process itself, that you build the skill, resilience and mindset necessary for long-term success. When you trust the process, you understand that success isn't a destination, it's a journey. It's the ongoing effort, the continual adaptation, and the learning that happens along the way. You'll face setbacks, sure, but with each one, you'll learn more about yourself and your ability to navigate challenges. Trusting the process means believing that every step, no matter how small or imperfect, is bringing you closer to your goal. Every failure teaches you something, every delay gives you more time to prepare, and every obstacle is an opportunity to strengthen your resolve. Trusting the process doesn't mean blindly following a plan. It means understanding that success is built through action, adaptation, and perseverance. When things don't go as planned, it's not the end of the journey, it's simply a sign that it's time to adjust. Every great achievement is the result of not just following the process, but of adapting and growing through it. Trust the process, trust yourself, and trust that with every step you take, you're moving closer to your goal. Even if you can't see it yet, the process is working, and you are too. 7. Preparation meets opportunity. In the final stretch of any pursuit, there is a critical moment when all of your preparation aligns with an opportunity. This is when everything you've worked for, the countless hours of effort, the challenges you've endured, and the sacrifices you've made, starts to come together. This moment is not a coincidence, it's the culmination of everything you've done up until now. But success isn't something that just happens out of nowhere. It doesn't fall into your lap because you were working hard. It happens because when the opportunity presents itself, you're ready to seize it. Preparation is the foundation of success. Many people mistakenly believe that success is about being in the right place at the right time, but being in the right place is only part of the equation. The other part is being ready when the moment arrives. Opportunities don't wait for you to catch up. They present themselves when you're prepared to take action. This is where preparation meets opportunity. If you're not ready, you can miss the chance, even if it's right in front of you. That's why preparation is so crucial. It's the difference between being able to act when the moment comes and missing out entirely. In many ways, preparation is an ongoing process. It's about continually honing your skills, refining your craft, and maintaining a level of discipline that ensures you're always improving. The work you've done, the setbacks you've overcome, and the time you've invested are all part of this preparation. But preparation isn't just about the skills you develop, it's also about your mindset. It's about cultivating the mental and emotional resilience that will allow you to take advantage of opportunities when they arise. It's about staying focused even when things get difficult and keeping your eye on the prize even when the road gets tough. Opportunity is not a guaranteed thing. It's fleeting, unpredictable, and often arrives when you least expect it. Sometimes opportunities come in the form of a new job, a business deal, or a collaboration. Other times they come in the form of a small moment, a chance encounter, a random piece of advice, or a fleeting idea. But no matter what form the opportunity takes, it will only have value if you're ready to act on it. That's why preparation matters. It's what ensures that you don't let the opportunity pass you by. When the time comes, you need to be in a position to take full advantage of it. There's also an element of timing here. Opportunities often arrive when you're least expecting them, which means the preparation you've done up until this point may not be tied to an obvious moment or event. That's why staying prepared is important, even when it seems like you're not directly working towards something specific. Every piece of knowledge you gain, every skill you develop, and every challenge you overcome is building the foundation for your success. The moment may not arrive in the exact form you envisioned, but if you've prepared, you'll be able to recognize the opportunity when it comes. Think of it like training for a marathon. You don't know when you'll be asked to run the race. You only know that you've put in the work. All the long runs, the strength training, and the sacrifices you've made during training don't guarantee that you'll cross the finish line, but they do ensure that you're capable of running when the race starts. Success works in much the same way. When the race begins, when the opportunity presents itself, you need to be able to go the distance. Without the preparation, you'll be caught off guard, unable to perform at your best. But when you've put in the work, the opportunity doesn't seem as daunting. You're ready. This doesn't mean that success is purely about individual effort though. Timing, circumstances, and external factors all play a role. But when preparation meets opportunity, the external factors become less important. You're ready to take advantage of whatever comes your way. That's the beauty of preparation. It shifts the control back into your hands, because you've done everything within your power to be ready for whatever arises. Whether it's a chance to showcase your skills, or a new project that aligns with your vision, preparation ensures that you're able to act quickly, decisively, and with confidence. Preparation also involves maintaining a mindset of flexibility. As much as preparation is about honing your skills, it's also about being open to change and unexpected opportunities. If you're too rigid in your approach, you may miss opportunities because they don't match your exact plan. But if you remain open-minded and adaptable, the opportunities that come your way may be even better than what you expected. Preparation is as much about mental readiness as it is about technical ability. It's about being able to pivot when necessary and recognize opportunities that might not fit into your original vision but align with your broader goals. The key to success is not just about having the right skills or resources, it's about being in the right mindset when the moment arrives. Preparation provides the confidence and self-assurance to make decisions, take action, and trust your abilities when opportunity knocks. The hard work you've put in up until this point prepares you to act swiftly when needed. It's not just about waiting for something to happen, it's about positioning yourself to capitalize on the opportunities when they appear. In the final stretch, the work you've put in, the skills you've developed, and the resilience you've built will all come to fruition. But none of it will matter if you're not prepared. Opportunities often come at the most unexpected times, and if you're not ready to seize them, you'll miss them. That's why preparation is key to success. It's not enough to simply hope that things will fall into place. You must actively prepare, constantly sharpen your skills, and maintain the discipline to stay focused on your goals. When the opportunity presents itself, you need to be ready to grab it with both hands. Your preparation will be what sets you apart and ensures that you can make the most of the moment when it comes. 8. The power of patience. In the final stretch of any major achievement, patience becomes one of the most important qualities you can possess. The urge to rush, to speed through the last steps, or to force results is powerful, especially when success feels so close. It's a natural human reaction to want to expedite the process when you can see the finish line ahead of you, and the closer you get, the more tempting it becomes to push harder, to make things happen faster. However, rushing through these last moments can lead to mistakes, burnout, or missed opportunities. Success isn't a race to the end, it's a steady, controlled movement toward completion. True success requires patience, especially when the reward feels within reach. Patience, however, is often misunderstood. It's not simply about waiting idly for things to unfold, it's much deeper than that. Patience involves maintaining a calm, composed mindset while things unfold in their own time. It's the ability to hold your focus and stay grounded, even when the world around you is urging you to hurry. Patience doesn't mean inaction or passivity. It means allowing the process to take its course without forcing things to happen prematurely. It's about trusting that, while the timeline may not be as fast as you'd like, every step you've taken, every decision you've made, and every challenge you've overcome has been part of a larger process that is leading you to your goal. In fact, one of the most critical aspects of patience is the trust it fosters. When you're patient, you trust that everything is moving in the right direction, even if it doesn't seem that way in the moment. In high-stakes situations, it's easy to get caught up in the urgency of the outcome. The closer you get to your goal, the more pressure you may feel to make it happen immediately. But real growth and achievement don't happen in a rush. They happen when you give yourself the time and space to finish what you've started, even if it means waiting for things to align naturally. Patience is essential because it helps prevent you from reacting impulsively. When you rush decisions, you may overlook key details, misinterpret opportunities, or fail to fully recognize the challenges that lie ahead. Rushing through the final stages of any endeavor can result in poor decisions that could undo everything you've worked for. Patience allows you to take a step back, evaluate your options, and make the best decision possible, rather than making an emotional or rushed choice that may not serve your long-term goals. But patience isn't just about waiting for something to happen, it's also about maintaining focus during those moments of uncertainty. When you don't see immediate results, or when things seem to stall, patience allows you to keep your eyes on the end goal, and trust that progress is still being made, even if it's not immediately visible. The final moments before success often bring the most doubt and anxiety. You've invested so much time and energy into reaching your goal, and when the finish line is within sight, it can feel like the pressure to make it happen is immense. Patience in this moment is the difference between being overwhelmed by that pressure and remaining calm, knowing that everything you've done up until now is sufficient to carry you through. One of the key components of patience is self-control. It requires the ability to manage your impulses and resist the temptation to rush or force outcomes. Self-control is a powerful skill that has been studied in psychology and neuroscience. Research, particularly the work of Walter Mischel on delayed gratification, has shown that the ability to delay immediate desires for long-term rewards is closely tied to success in many areas of life. In the context of achieving big goals, patience is your way of delaying the need for instant results in favor of the deeper, more satisfying reward that comes from achieving your goal the right way. It's about understanding that the work, effort, and waiting are all part of a larger process that is worth the investment. But patience doesn't come without its challenges. It requires mental fortitude and emotional regulation, especially when things don't go according to plan. There will be moments when you feel frustrated, anxious, or overwhelmed by how slowly things seem to be progressing. You may question whether you've done enough, or if the goal is even worth pursuing. In those moments, patience becomes a practice, a conscious decision to remain steady and committed to your path. When you exercise patience, you acknowledge that challenges are part of the process, and that overcoming them will only make the success that much sweeter. In practical terms, patience in the final moments before success is about maintaining momentum without burning out. It's about resisting the urge to push yourself to the point of exhaustion, or to make hasty decisions that might compromise the integrity of your progress. The most successful individuals are those who understand that the final stretch requires the same level of care and dedication as every other part of the journey. They know that success isn't about rushing, it's about pacing yourself and staying true to the process. Patience also teaches you to savor the process. When you're not in a hurry to get to the end, you can appreciate the nuances of what you're doing, you can learn from each experience, make adjustments when necessary, and see the incremental growth that happens each day. This gradual accumulation of small victories is often where the real success lies, not in a single big moment, but in the steady progress made along the way. Patience allows you to appreciate those small wins, to feel gratitude for how far you've come, and to stay connected to the reason you started in the first place. Patience is the calmness that allows you to handle pressure without losing focus or composure. It's what keeps you grounded, even when things feel overwhelming or uncertain. Patience doesn't mean passivity, it means being proactive while trusting the process to unfold in its own time. It's about knowing that your hard work has been building toward this moment, and trusting that the right results will come when you stay true to the path. When you practice patience, you allow the process to run its course, and you give yourself the space to fully experience the rewards of your efforts. In the end, it's that patience and composure in the final moments that will allow you to enjoy the true fruits of your labor.
9. Embrace the challenge. As you draw closer to achieving something significant, the obstacles you face become more pronounced, more demanding. It's easy to assume that the closer you get to your goal, the smoother the path should become, but this is not the reality. In fact, the final stretch is often where the challenges intensify. It is at this stage that your resolve and determination are truly tested. The pressure builds, the stakes rise, and every decision becomes more crucial. While many see these final hurdles as a negative, as something to fear or avoid, they are actually a sign that you are on the right track. Challenges are not only part of the journey, they are an essential ingredient for growth. Without them, progress would be meaningless. Without setbacks, there would be no strength. Every challenge that presents itself during this phase is an opportunity in disguise. These challenges may initially seem like roadblocks, things that are standing in your way or preventing you from reaching your destination. But in reality, these obstacles are helping to shape you. They are pushing you beyond your limits, forcing you to adapt, to think critically, and to develop the strength needed to reach your goal. The more difficult the challenge, the greater the reward will be when you finally overcome it. This is where many people make the mistake of viewing challenges as something negative or something to fear. They see obstacles as signs that they are failing or that they are not meant to succeed. The truth is, challenges are inevitable. They are part of every success story. The most accomplished people in the world didn't get there by avoiding difficulty. They reached their peak because they faced every challenge head-on, using each setback as a lesson rather than a defeat. Challenges are not to be feared, they are to be embraced. The pressure you feel in these final moments before success is not a sign that you're doing something wrong. It's a sign that you're doing something right. You are on the verge of breaking through to a new level, and the pressure is the universe's way of helping you grow. Instead of seeing the pressure as something that might break you, view it as something that will make you stronger. Every time you face a difficult situation, you learn more about yourself. You discover your inner strength, your ability to persevere, and your capacity to adapt. These challenges are forging the mental, emotional and physical resilience you'll need to maintain your success once you've reached it. You'll be faced with decisions that will push you beyond your comfort zone. You'll be tested not only on your abilities but also on your mindset. Your mental toughness will be the deciding factor in whether you overcome the final hurdles or whether you give in to doubt and fear. The key is to embrace the challenge, to accept that obstacles are part of the process, and to trust that each one is helping you build the strength you need. It's easy to get discouraged when things aren't going smoothly, but that is when your resolve will be tested the most. The pressure may be overwhelming, but if you shift your perspective, you'll see it for what it is, a catalyst for your growth. It's also important to recognize that challenges are not a sign of failure, they are a sign of progress. If the journey was smooth and without obstacles, there would be no opportunity for you to grow. The challenges that arise, especially in the final stretch, are proof that you are getting closer to your goal. The harder the battle, the greater the victory. When you face an obstacle in the final stretch, it's not a signal that you're failing, it's a signal that you're almost there. Success rarely comes easily, and it's the final hurdles that determine whether you'll push through or turn back. But if you approach these challenges with the mindset that they are there to help you grow, you'll have the strength to overcome them and continue forward. One of the most empowering things you can do when faced with a challenge is to reframe it. Instead of seeing the obstacle as something standing in your way, try to see it as an opportunity for growth. Each challenge is helping you develop the skills, mindset, and resilience that you'll need, not just to achieve your goal, but to maintain your success once you've reached it. The best thing you can do in the face of a challenge is not to shy away from it, but to lean into it. See it for what it truly is, a stepping stone on your path to success. It's easy to get discouraged when things don't go according to plan. It's easy to think that you've done something wrong, or that the universe is working against you. But every successful person has faced moments when the odds seemed stacked against them. What sets them apart is their ability to embrace the challenge, to remain focused on their goal, and to keep pushing forward no matter what. They don't see obstacles as barriers, they see them as opportunities to prove their strength, to push their limits, and to get one step closer to their dreams. In these moments, when it feels like everything is on the line, don't back down, embrace the challenge, and let it propel you forward. The pressure, the uncertainty, and the obstacles are all part of the journey. They are not there to break you, they are there to build you. By facing each challenge head-on, you will not only reach your goal, but become stronger, more resilient, and more capable of achieving even greater things in the future. The road to success is never easy, but it's the challenges along the way that make the reward so much sweeter. Embrace the challenges and use them to propel you to the next level. 10. The finish line is just the beginning. When you finally achieve something big, it's easy to feel like the journey is over. The finish line, after all, represents the culmination of months or even years of hard work, sacrifice, and persistence. You've put in the effort, faced the obstacles, and now you've reached the goal you set for yourself. It feels like the end, but the truth is, achieving something significant is never the end of the journey. It's just the beginning of the next chapter in your life. The completion of one goal doesn't mark the closure of your pursuit of success. It simply opens the door to new opportunities, new challenges, and new horizons. Success is not a one-time achievement. It's a continuous process of growth, achievement, and evolution. Once you've reached your goal, it's natural to feel a sense of accomplishment and to take a moment to celebrate. After all, the journey to success is often long and challenging, and taking a breath to appreciate how far you've come is important. However, the moment of celebration should not be the moment where you stop. It should be the moment where you harness the momentum of your achievement and use it to fuel the next phase of your journey. The momentum that comes with success is a powerful force, and if you stop at the finish line, you risk losing that drive. The misconception many people have is that success is about achieving a specific goal and then stopping. They believe that success is a destination, a place to arrive at, but in reality, success is about the journey. It's not about achieving something for the sake of the achievement itself. It's about building a life that continually evolves, a life where each success leads to new opportunities for growth and accomplishment. The reason why so many high achievers continue to push forward, even after reaching incredible milestones, is because they understand that success is not static. They understand that their growth doesn't end with the achievement of one goal, but that each success lays the foundation for the next one. Your success today does not define who you are for the rest of your life. It is just one chapter in your ongoing story. While reaching your goal may feel like a significant milestone, it's just one step on a longer path. The sense of accomplishment you feel should be appreciated, but it should not be mistaken for the final destination. Instead, it's an important marker on the journey, one that will lead you to even greater accomplishments if you continue to push forward. People who achieve extraordinary things don't rest on their laurels. They understand that the finish line isn't the end, but the beginning of something new. Each success they achieve is simply a stepping stone to the next challenge, the next opportunity, and the next phase of their growth. Think about the greatest minds in history, the inventors, the leaders, the creatives. They didn't stop after achieving one breakthrough. Instead, they used each accomplishment as a launchpad to tackle something bigger, more ambitious, or more complex. Take Thomas Edison, for example. He didn't stop after inventing the light bulb. He continued to innovate, creating a series of breakthroughs in electricity and technology. Or consider Steve Jobs. After creating the first Apple computer, he didn't stop. He pushed forward, developing the iPhone, the iPad, and changing the way we live and communicate. These individuals didn't treat success as a one-time event. Instead, they viewed it as a part of an ongoing cycle of achievement and growth. Similarly, in your own life, when you reach your goal, it's important to take a moment to reflect on what you've accomplished. Celebrate the effort, the persistence, and the lessons learned along the way. But don't let that celebration lead to complacency. Use the sense of achievement to fuel the next goal. The reality is, there's always more to do, more to learn, and more to achieve. When you reach one finish line, it's simply time to set your sights on the next. And this isn't about constantly chasing after success for the sake of success. It's about building a life that is fulfilling and aligned with your deepest goals and values. The journey doesn't end with any single achievement. It's a continuous cycle of growth, and the finish line is merely a point along the path. When you achieve something significant, it's easy to get caught up in the idea of resting or slowing down. But true fulfillment comes not from completing one goal, but from continuing to evolve. People who achieve lasting success understand that their current goal is just a part of a much larger journey. Every new goal, every new challenge is an opportunity to grow, to improve, and to refine your skills, knowledge, and mindset. With each new challenge comes the chance to stretch beyond what you've already achieved, to push your limits and to see just how far you can go. The key is to recognize that success isn't an endpoint, but a stepping stone. Once you achieve something big, take a moment to appreciate the journey that brought you to that point, but then, use that moment to propel yourself forward into the next adventure. This ongoing pursuit of growth, achievement, and self-improvement is what makes life meaningful. Success isn't about a single victory, it's about a continuous cycle of challenges and triumphs, each one building upon the last, shaping you into the person you're meant to become. In essence, when you reach your goal, don't view it as the final destination. The finish line is simply a marker along a much longer path. Every achievement you reach is a sign of your progress, but it should also serve as a reminder that there is more to explore, more to experience, and more to achieve. The best thing you can do when you achieve something big is not to stop, but to keep moving forward, using the momentum from your success to propel you toward even greater accomplishments. This mindset is what will keep you growing, learning, and evolving, and it's what will help you build a life that's not just successful, but continuously fulfilling.